In this bulletin, more infections, Ngawiya an area of concern. No MOH recommendation for extended lockdown. And Fiji surpasses WHO threshold of 5%. Good afternoon. There have been 308 new cases of COVID-19 up to 8 a.m. yesterday, setting a new record for daily infections. However, more concerning is the fact that Ngawiya village in Lami had 153 cases alone. This is close to half of the total infections reported over the period ending 8 a.m. yesterday. New cases have been reported in Goodman Filda in Vatuanga, Suva, Gander Shipping, Nosori Police Barracks, and St. Giles Hospital. The remaining cases are contacts of known cases or those seen in screening clinics and were swabbed. Dr. Fong has again warned Fiji is yet to see the peak of infections.
The metrics that my team uses to assess on a regular basis all indicate that we will see higher increases in daily case numbers in the near term. I want to make sure we understand how that impacts our response and recommendations to government.
A lack of public compliance is the main reason that a 24-hour lockdown over a 28-day period would not work for Fiji. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says the only reason that similar lockdowns in other parts of the world have been successful in curbing infections is because people have complied with government directives. Even under such a strict lockdown, Dr. Fong believes the virus would continue to circulate within communities. People would try to leave and some would succeed. Dr. Fong, in rejecting social media speculation, says health experts have not advised the government to implement any extended curfew. The Permanent Secretary adds that any such move would threaten the survival of thousands of Fijians.
The tragic reality is that Fijians living in communities most vulnerable to the virus, including those in informal settlements, are also those most vulnerable to the socio-economic catastrophe that a 24-hour lockdown for 28 days would bring about. Even under such a strict lockdown, we believe that the virus would continue to circulate in many of these communities.
According to the PS, in the Fijian context, the extended lockdown means a 24-hour curfew with no movement except for medical emergencies. The head of Fiji's COVID response team has also hit out at social media critics, saying those who have time to tweet or post on Facebook should not dedicate their platform to disinformation. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has stressed that the COVID-19 vaccine is the key that will open the gates to a normal life in Fiji. After receiving his second jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine, Bainimarama is urging Fijians to get vaccinated for themselves and their families. In a post on his official Facebook account, Bainimarama says people should also get vaccinated for their fellow Fijians and their country. The Prime Minister reiterated how vaccines have saved the world from diseases that used to cause untold misery like smallpox and polio, adding that this COVID-19 vaccine is no different. Bainimarama says this vaccine is the right thing for each individual's health and safety. As he congratulated those who have been vaccinated, the Prime Minister says at the pace we are on, enough Fijians will be vaccinated for Fiji to turn the page on this bleak period in our history and to start live a normal life again. Bainimarama also acknowledged Australia, India and New Zealand, through whose support Fijians are guaranteed enough vaccines to inoculate our adult population within a few months. A Gander shipping crew has been isolated following a lone COVID-19 case which was recorded in one of the ships providing freight services to outer islands. FBC News confirms that the Lomaiviti Princess 9 berthed at the Narayan Jetty last night, coming back from Kandavu when the case was recorded. Health Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says the crew members have relevant protocols through procedures to adhere to.
In accordance with our shipping crew protocol, any unloading of freight takes place in areas that are clearly demarcated so that there are no interactions between crew and others, including people on the ground in Vonelevu, and the outer islands. Crew were not permitted to disembark in Bono Levu nor in the islands, and these protocols have been and will continue to be strictly enforced by the police, my medical teams, and the Maritime Safety Authority of Fiji.
And to our latest COVID-19 update. There were 308 new cases in the 24-hour period ending at 8 yesterday morning. Of the new cases, 297 are from the Lami Nosori containment zone and 11 are from Tramline Nandi. 218 of the cases in Lami Suvanosori are from existing areas of interest, including 153 from Gawia in Lami. Fiji has recorded 2,778 cases since April. There are now 2,173 active cases in isolation with 653 recoveries in total. The COVID-19 death toll stands at 13. Up ahead, Seniasi modeled for captaincy role, and Archery Fiji awaits naming. Welcome back. Fijiana Sevens co-captain Tokasa Seniasi is being molded to take over reign from veteran co-captain Rusila Nangasau for the captaincy role. The 21-year-old who led Fiji to 5th place in last year's Sydney Sevens has been one of the outstanding players for the Sayasi fully coached side. Nangasau and Seniasi will be co-captains at the Oceania Sevens this weekend.
Rusila is a senior player who has been with the team for the past 7-8 years, and Tokasa is a young leader. We're creating that succession plan for her to take over the leadership when Rusila will retire from rugby.
Due to the pandemic and restrictions in place, preparation for the Olympics has been made more difficult for archery. With only 28 days left for the much-anticipated Games, Archery Fiji is still hanging on to the hopes of getting its athletes confirmed for next month. Not being able to complete the qualification series due to the pandemic and its restrictions is a worry beyond control for the Federation.
At the moment, we're just waiting for the International Federation to get back to us on the status of the quota spot for Oceania and how that turns out. And then from there we'll be submitting our names for approval. 3 archers are now just waiting for the final decision from the International Federation. Definitely that's a concern, but at the moment it's out of our hands. So all we wait for is to hear back from the International Federation. Team Fiji chef de mission Patrick Bauer says archery and a few other sporting bodies are still yet to confirm their spots. A few Team Fiji athletes, including the national sevens team, will depart for Tokyo on the 8th of next month. Venina Rakautonga, FBC Sports. Many sport lovers in New Zealand are still over the moon about the Black Caps World Test Championship victory yesterday. Cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern and interior parts of Viti Levu and Vanua Levu, Taveuni, Lau and Lomai Viti group. Elsewhere, mainly fine and cool at night. That's FBC News Now. Join us for our 1-hour major bulletin at 7 p.m. And be sure to download the FBC app to access the latest in news, sports and live radio broadcasts from any of our 6 FBC radio stations. Stay safe and good afternoon.